Making 2022, the 1503 refers to the recipe that we're using. It's a recipe from 1503 that was culled from the annals of the Spanish Inquisition, and in the late 1990s, somebody came across all of these recipes in the notes of the Inquisition of, well, this person took this, and this, and they made flat crackers at Easter time. And little did the people who were making the matzah know that 500 plus years later we would be recreating their recipe. This is a recipe from a woman named Angelina de Leon, and I think it's pretty spectacular that we are able to replicate it. I'm going to do a quick, I'm not alone here. I got some friends who are making matzah with me and friends who are on Zoom. You can all wave for a second. Just wave and say hi to all the people who are watching afterwards. Nikki, Michelle, Allison, come on, wave. Amy, all the Radlowers. There we all are. Hi, everyone. So we're going to make some matzah together today. And here's what we're going to need to do so. You have 4 eggs, 4 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of water, some honey, black pepper, and salt. And I don't know if everybody is quite ready and up to that yet. I did not yet crack my eggs, so I'm going to do that right now. In the meanwhile, how is everybody? You can all talk, kind of one at a time, but we'll figure it out.
It's hard to crack eggs and talk.
That is true. That is true.
You can have a bad joke.
All right. So I got my 4 eggs at the ready.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I just got a cough. Hey, Brian, quick question. Is it tablespoons or teaspoons of olive oil?
The olive oil should, what did I write? It should be teaspoons of olive oil. Did I change it up?
Yeah, I think you wrote tablespoons in the reminder email, so I'm just confirming.
Yeah.
Allison, I appreciate you asking.
You had 4 tablespoons.
Yeah, that's going to be a little more olive oil than we need.
Okay,
So
teaspoons.
let's bring our olive oil down to 4 teaspoons of olive oil. Let me go over our little ingredients list again. I apologize for keeping it one more complicated.
Wasting some good olive oil.
We got 4 eggs beaten, 4 teaspoons extra virgin olive oil, so pour some off, 8 tablespoons of water, 6 tablespoons of honey, 4 cups of flour, some pepper, a tablespoon of pepper, and the original recipe does not call for salt. But my friend Kim at the bake shop, who makes the delicious, delicious matzah, she recommends adding in some salt, so I'm going to add in a tablespoon of salt due to your preference. Also, I do feel it's only right that I should...
Tablespoon or teaspoon?
The salt, it's up to you on your taste. The pepper is 1 tablespoon of pepper, and while that does seem like a lot, it is. It's a lot of pepper. The salt is to taste. It wasn't in the recipe. I do want to show off for a moment my apron that my daughter made. So,
Oh, wow.
thank you, Amy, for I'll give you the full.
Well, I think a tablespoon of salt is way too much.
Okay, don't do a tablespoon of salt. Do a
No,
teaspoon.
I'm doing my own. I know I've done it, but I think for people who haven't made it before,
A
that would be
teaspoon of
great.
salt should be just about enough.
I have a question about the pepper.
Yes,
I'm not a big fan of the pepper, but if it's going to impact the way it comes out, then I can follow with that amount of pepper. So
You don't
What's
need to put pepper in it. I don't think it's going to change it. It just won't have a peppery flavor to it. It's not. It's not going to not rise. Other questions that we have before we get cracking?
I would also like to model my apron made by Annie.
Oh, look at that. Michelle has the same apron maker that I do. Fantastic. If you guys don't know, Annie is going on a trip to Costa Rica, God willing, in June, and she's fundraising for that by selling aprons. If you would like, email me afterwards, and I can get you in touch with the manufacturer. Okay,
Yes.
so let's
need an
do
apron.
some. We're going to combine our dry ingredients. So put our pepper in, and a teaspoon of salt is just probably enough. Salt and pepper, mix those up nicely. And just a reminder, your oven should be preheated to 400 degrees. I had put 425 in the reminder email, and that was only because my oven runs cold. Okay, so here we go. Next step, we're going to add everything else in. I'm going to wait. I see people are still on the flour part. So let me pause for a moment. All right. Nikki, if I remember correctly, you bake, and last year you showed off with some strudel capabilities. Am I?
I don't know about that, but yeah, I baked it the last couple of years.
Yeah. So
I baked enough last year to give to everybody. It was fun.
Feel free to correct me if you have any thoughts, Nikki, or anyone else who has thinking. So here we go. We are going to now combine all the rest of our ingredients, and we're going to mix this up into a nice sticky batter. It says not to overmix. I don't think I would even know what that would look like.
Do you hand mix or do you use a beater?
I'm hand mixing just like they did in 1503. If you have a beater, folks, improvise. Just a quick recap while we're mixing. Passover is the festival of unleavened bread. In the Bible, it is referred to before the Exodus from Egypt. There's special note made of it in Exodus and there's something strange about the unleavened bread as some kind of rebellion against Egypt. Because if you look back in the Joseph story, there's some mention that the Egyptians wouldn't eat bread. I don't know exactly what that is. I just discovered that one in the last few days, and I haven't done a deep enough dive on it. So mixity, mixity, mixity. It's traditional at this time of year, right before Passover. Passover begins this Friday night. That people will go through their homes and search out anything that has leaven in it to get rid of it for the Passover holiday. Some people go so far as to clean out their dog food. Some people take it a little bit more metaphorically and try to remove whatever is leaven in their hearts. I kind of like that idea, is that we should look at the parts of ourselves that we have puffed up, where we are a little bit too sure of ourselves or a little bit too big for our own britches. And we should make note that we need to get rid of that puffy stuff. There's some really fun arcane rules with regard to Passover. People tend to go one step more traditional and observant on what they do. People go crazy in a festival that's supposed to be celebrating freedom by restricting themselves. Irony and religion go hand in hand. How we doing with our dough, folks?
Mixing.
It's thick, ain't it?
Mix.
There we go.
I think I need more water. It's like little pebbles.
You need more water? Good idea. Add some more water in. All right. Should be coming together Let's give it another minute of, oh, is this a good arm workout? While we're mixing, anyone have any fun plans for Passover that they want to tell about? I'm going to take that
Going
side.
to
Where are you
someone
going?
else's house for Passover the first night.
That's a good thing to do. We are doing the same. We are going to a neighbor's house.
And you're bringing the matzah.
I'm making it right now. Annie and her friends, it's very sweet. Annie invited her friends over yesterday, and she said, Dad, can my friends come over? I want you to make matzah with us. I want to have my friends learn how to make matzah too. So yesterday morning I got up and she said, Dad, you're no longer invited. It's just me and my friends. And that hurt, but that's how it is. All right, folks. We ready to roll this stuff out? Roll it out. We're going to divide it into 12 portions. Good luck on doing that exactly.
Oh, you have a pastry cutter.
I have a board scraper. You can use, I might actually use a knife because that's not working very well. So if that's quarters, each one of those goes into thirds. So I'm going to say a large size meatball.
Okay, I can do that better than cutting something into quarters.
So mine is really sticky.
Yeah,
Should I add any flour?
It's really sticky.
Really sticky. Okay.
Now mine's not super sticky.
I'm still trying to work in
Mine
the...
is almost, I can still see flour. It's sort of semi on the dry side, but
Yeah, me too.
I think if I add any more flour, it's going to be too sweet.
Trying
So
to...
we should have 12 balls.
That's the idea.
So matzah size balls or
Yep. So matzo balls are a different thing, but that's exactly what we're making right now.
I'm so sorry, that was not well thought out.
No, I like it, Amy. I like it. So we are making matzo balls right now, literally. For those of you who don't know, matzo balls are, well, I think everyone knows what matzo balls from matzo ball soup are.
Yeah, but they're lead sinkers in the chicken soup.
And that is a big thing in the Jewish household, is getting your matzo balls not to be very, very heavy.
Yeah. So what's the secret?
Ask my mom to do them.
She won't ship them.
You got... Here's my secret.
What's that?
You gotta whisk the eggs first, real nice and fluffy.
Oh, okay.
And then do the oil and then add the matzah. The other trick...
So do you separate the eggs so you have a fluffy egg white and then add in the yolk?
Well, I haven't tried that. I just do the whole egg and mix it up real good. And then I've heard the secret, but I haven't determined this makes much difference, is a little bit of seltzer water.
What kind of water are you using? Seltzer water.
Seltzer water.
I have heard that. Or tonic water, something like that.
Yeah,
Soda
something
water.
like that with the fuzzies.
And there's something
And then make sure you refrigerate
That's
it
the
for
thing.
at least
So they-
20 minutes.
That's what my mama does. She refrigerates the bowl.
Yeah, refrigerates the bowl with the matzah in it for about, I think my mom used to do it for an hour.
Definitely. It can't be any, if you go less than 20 minutes, they're just lumps of blah.
Yeah.
All right.
My balls are going to definitely, I need to add size to my balls because I'm ready. 12. So
And we are going to rolling pin out matzah.
Ah, I need my rolling pin.
I floured the surface, keep them from sticking so much. And the goal is to get these as thin as possible so that they don't cook so long. And the thinner you can get them, the better. It's not an easy thing to do. I think you all know I'm quite smote with my daughter. She and I were in a cooking store in Kitchen Caboodle, which is a Portland-based cooking store. And we found this.
That's cool. I know what that is.
It's called a pizza docker.
Ah.
And it's for adding holes to the dough. And in our tests, it seemed to have worked pretty well for the matzah as well.
Oh, well, that's cheating. It's called a what?
It was called a docker, D-O-C-K-E-R.
Oh, okay. My mom had something like that for when her grandma or whatever was marking for when they would make pastry dough or strudel dough.
I've seen them in the Jewish Museum. Like this is a traditional cheating tool. Otherwise, when you are
What
done,
does it do?
Well, that was because they didn't have forks back then.
right, is you're gonna prick your dough with a fork to keep it from rising.
Ah.
So that's where my pizza docker comes in. Look at that. That's efficient.
It's gonna look like the strangest square of matzah I've ever seen.
The interesting thing with doing it this way when you roll it out, because it's a really stretchy dough. It takes a while to roll it out really thin, but there is no square or circles.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting.
It doesn't matter.
My first one's turning into a heart.
Aw, that's sweet, Anne.
My mom had something. I know she did. I don't think I still have it though.
I heard a quote yesterday. I'm thinking about these traditions, and I heard a quote at the Saturday service yesterday from our friend Jeff, and it just was a delightful quote. He said, "Tradition is peer pressure from dead people." I'm glad it amused one of you.
Oh, I was very amused. I was
love that.
laughing.
And I think you just heard me chuckle.
Yeah.
I think that's a great book.
So why do we do this? Peer pressure.
Tradition.
Peer pressure from dead people.
So I've done one. Should I transfer it over to the baking?
If you're done with it and you did the forking, fork all over it, put it on a baking pan. I can usually fit 2 on my baking pan. And then you're going to cook them for about 10 minutes while you make the other 10.
Rabbi, can you put any commentary on the 18 minutes of?
Yeah, that's again peer pressure from dead people. It's a fairly new. The idea that it has to be cooked in 18 minutes. I did a deep dive on this one, so Maimonides is very clear that you don't have to. That the bread is not leavening in the time as long as you're not working with it. I think it's just this human thing that we want to make it more into a game. Like, can you get this thing done in 18 minutes? And my answer is no. Oh, but hey, I don't know how this counts. I know for a while, a few states, Utah and Hawaii and New York, were allowing people to get married via Zoom. And why am I bringing...
Say that again?
So during COVID, Utah, New York State, and Hawaii, and some other states as well, would allow you to get married on Zoom. You could have your officiant on Zoom officiate a wedding, and then when things laxed down, they stopped allowing that. I'm not sure the rules on saying that your matzah was made under rabbinic supervision if the rabbi is on Zoom. But I'm going to say it counts, so you can tell everyone that this matzah from 1503 you made under rabbinic supervision, and
Therefore, it's kosher.
okay, let's talk about kosher in a minute.
But Brian, how do we prep our pan? Is it just nothing on the pan? And we
Nothing on the pan.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. I have a great quote about kosher I'm going to share with you in a moment, but I'm ready to put my first batch in the oven. So I'm going to go to oven cam. Hold on, look, I have oven cam. There we go.
Ooh.
Oh, oven cam's going to work upside down. Isn't this just like a baking stove?
Making matzah.
All right. Back out of oven cam. So a thing about kosher, let me tell you guys a story. You guys ready for a story as we make more matzah?
That's the best part. I love the stories.
Okay, so I'm at my niece's bat mitzvah a few weeks ago, her bat mitzvah party. The bat mitzvah got COVIDly postponed. So I'm at the party and I'm on the dance floor, and it's one of those, first of all, I'm officially old because I don't know what the kids were listening to and dancing to, but it was definitely not music. But there's a break in the loud noise that the kids consider music, and a woman comes up to me and she says, "Rabbi, I see you wear a hat." "Yeah." "Well, do you keep kosher?" And I've had this conversation more than one time. I know exactly where this is going to go. I'm going to answer, and she's going to tell me that she keeps kosher. So I decide to answer with my favorite quote about kosher. I said, I'm pretty certain, and hey, John, good to see you, man. I say, I'm pretty certain that kosher is less about what goes into my mouth, and it's more about what comes out of my mouth.
Interesting.
Isn't that a great quote? That kosher is not about what goes into my mouth. Kosher is about what comes out of my mouth. And as expected, she says, well, I keep kosher. And that was the extent of our conversation. Well, I'll give you a little more background on that quote. So it's a really good quote. Kosher is more about what comes out of your mouth than what goes into your mouth. And I didn't tell her because it was not going to go well based on the audience, but I will tell you, based on the audience, that quote, kosher is not what comes into your mouth, but kosher is what comes out of your mouth, is actually a quote that's in both the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Matthew right after the Sermon on the Mount. It's a Jesus quote.
Huh.
And the thing that I think is fun about that quote is a great quote about what's kosher, and then it's said by the one person in rabbinic literature who's not kosher to quote. Okay, that's the end of that story. I think my jokes are really landing poorly today.
No.
You just did it.
I'm just not getting all the. It's all okay. We're busily preparing our matzah. Not that it's a competition, but how are we doing? Do people all have their first one in an oven already?
First one's in.
Yeah.
I'm relying on your timing. I didn't
Yeah.
notice.
Gabby,
Remind me the time. Is it? How long does it bake?
I forgot to put the time.
It's going to bake for 10 minutes. So
Thanks.
you can.
Rabbi, last year when we did it,
Yes, Nikki.
when we did it last year, we put it in for 7 to 8 minutes around. 10 minutes is fine. But also we turned it.
Oh,
So
shoot.
when you turn it over when you're like 7 minutes in,
Okay.
then you get both sides that get a little bit brown.
And
I
so,
don't know if that's necessary, but we've always done it.
well, I like it, Nikki. I didn't have that in my notes, but I think
So
that's a
somebody
grand idea.
Do a timer for the halfway mark.
So are we saying, so I know mine take more than 7 minutes to cook.
Yeah.
So I will switch at 5.
Doesn't have to be the full halfway either because the pan's already nice and hot by then.
Oh, I never considered that.
Doesn't matter.
Thank you for helping keep him straight. Somebody needs to.
Well, if it's not you, it's going to be a conservative Jew on the dance floor.
Well, you sort of answered my question as to who was the baker or cooker in your house. I was betting it was your father.
My household growing up,
Yeah.
nobody cooked.
Nobody cooked?
Nobody cooked. The oven blew up in 1976 and it got replaced in '89. Not kidding. That was an advantage of growing up in New York City, was
Yeah.
you could have food
No,
without
my
ever
mother
cooking.
was the cooker and the baker. That's why I asked.
My daughter is an excellent baker. And we have
She takes after you.
mainly chocolate chip cookies, which is really all anyone needs to bake.
See, I like baking because you have to follow a recipe. And I cook like I do my art. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
You're cooking food, you want to know, you want to do it organically. And that's so not me. I'm a good cook, but I'm certainly not a chef. But I'm a great baker.
You're a good
Because
baker.
you have to follow a recipe.
All right, I am flipping my 5 minutes in matzahs. They're looking pretty darn good. A little thicker than I'd like. Yeah, I am in a a challah baking club. That is a virtual club, and it's a very small membership. And I have a friend, and we send pictures of the challah that we make most every week. Oh, wait a moment. Allison Handler. Hello. Did you not? I think I delivered you a delicious challah this week. It was in-
Rabbi, my matzah's sticking to the pan.
Your what is sticking to the pan, Amy?
My matzah.
Okay. Not really sure what I can do.
Well, I can't flip it.
Uh,
Where do you have it in the oven? On the middle of the oven or the very bottom?
Middle.
Okay, that should be okay.
with
I'm
a,
going to guess, and this is just a guess, if you sprinkle a little bit of water and let it steam a little bit and see if it comes up that way.
ooh.
Yeah, well, I think this first batch is going to be kind of interesting. I think I'm going to have to spread first too. Just
That-
add water
that's-
to the pan or something.
That's kind of like when you make potato pancakes. The first ones you have to just sacrifice.
Well, the first ones were creepy crawlers. All right, on to this first batch, but I'm burning myself.
Don't burn yourself, Amy.
Yeah, no, it's not pretty. I won't. It did once already, so that only means that means the next batch is going to be really good.
That's right. I have discovered recently in my challah baking a technique where you pretzelize the challah. You mean before you bake it, you boil the dough in water that has baking soda in it. and then the crust of the bread is like a pretzel. My new favorite thing.
Did you do that? Excuse me, with the braided or with the?
Oh yeah, no, I can't. I tried doing it braided. I wound up making the challah pretzel. It's a challah pretzel brioche. It's kind of more of a boule. I think actually, Allison, I think you came up with that phrasing. Michelle,
They're fabulous.
what's-
Ryan's pretzel challah bowls are fabulous.
they're fabulous. You just have to live within
What are
walking
fabulous?
distance.
What?
Pretzel challah boules. That's it's what I do with the eggs Allison drops off for me.
I'm taking a coffee break. My kitchen is too small, so I have to wait for the bread to bake before I can roll out other bread.
Okay. We'll just look at you.
I had to wash my pan because it was so sticky.
Well, I have to confess, I am just watching first and then going to be doing my matzah, so I'm learning from all your mistakes.
So that's a
That's no fair.
great thing, Diane. So what are people learning as we're doing this?
It's fun to bake together.
It is fun to bake together. Definitely
I
is.
love baking together, and I feel like I'm cheating because I'm not baking together, but one thing I did learn is that I need one of them pokers.
A
The little
pizza docker.
Well, my mom used to use something like that when she was making dough so that the sides would raise, or the bottom of the crust wouldn't raise.
Yeah, you have to do it with hot. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was no, we had something like that in, but it was it was a metal little thing, and it just poked little holes. I didn't know if she got it from her. She stuffed it at some point, but she had it.
My matzah after 10 minutes is not quite cooked yet. So I'm going a little bit longer.
Know when it's done.
Say that
How
again?
do you know when it's done?
That's a good question. I'm going for it's dry. It's dry enough it will dry out as it sits, but I like it to not come out of the oven gummy.
Okay.
I found that when you do it, depends on your thinness. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It starts to get a little bit brown, but not so much. When I did it last year, like 10 to 13, I found 13 was a minimum, and halfway I turned it over for 7 to 8. That seemed to work really well.
So I'm almost wondering if mine was not thin enough or whatever. I'm trying my second round, and we're going to see. And I'm going to put my timer on.
So curious. This is after about 10 minutes. So you can see the edges are getting brown.
Wait, hold on. I can't see you yet.
I
Oh yeah, the edges are getting brown.
let me see. Can
But
you
the inside
let me
is
see that?
not. So I'm going to turn it, but this is how I like it. See that bottom? You can see just a little bit of brown.
Uh-huh.
This side, I didn't do it enough, so I'm going to turn it for another minute. Put it
So
back
did
in
you-
the corner. That should do it.
And then
So did you
if
flour the bottom of your baking pan?
Sorry?
Did you dust your baking pan with flour?
No, there's enough flour when I roll out the dough. And I think if you don't have enough flour when you're rolling it out, that's when it gets sticky on the pan.
That's okay. Then that was the
So it's
problem.
very floury. Like I think you see this one. This is the next one going in.
yeah.
So you can see there's a lot of flour. It shouldn't stick to the pan if it's. I see where it's, not so floury. If it's super, super sticky, I think it might stick to the pan.
That was probably my problem.
Could be. I think means if you just use more flour when you're rolling it out, don't worry about too much flour.
Got it.
All right.
I think you're right. Making me want to redo one or two of my second batch.
Oh, I did it. My first batch is, look at that. Matzah-tastic.
Ooh.
And
Let us see.
they're supposed to cool on racks if you have those available.
Oh,
If not, they don't cool on racks.
Well, luckily, my daughter's away at college, and when I do make this, then I'll be able to save them because whenever I bake something like this, they're gone before I can even finish. She eats them all.
who eats them all?
This
Well, I haven't made matzah, but anything that I bake, if I'm making a series, like, I'm putting some in and then letting it cool, they're gone. I can't ever store them up. They're just like, oh, let me taste it and see if it's any good, and then they're all gone.
This matzah has a shelf life of over a month, but then something happens to it. Because we were trying to figure out how to mass produce it, because people enjoyed the one that was made at the bake shop so much. But we can't seem to do it. Apparently,
Well,
you need
that's
to know.
good. So if I can make a whole bunch and it lasts the whole week of Pesach.
I'm now going to try it again. I'm a little scared just because my pan is cluttered with junk, but we'll see.
Aaron, how is the littlest matzah maker doing there? Oh, we see him.
His idea of making dishes, cleaning dishes is really just playing with bubbles. So the fact that we have anything under control, it's just sort of area is great.
Aaron, your audio is a little bit fuzzy.
Oh,
It's just like kind of a bubble.
Hello, Joe.
Hi! Oh, look at the little guy. Hi!
Well, Joe,
Are you baking with us?
no,
No,
let me make this really easy. Joe, you're too late, so now you're not allowed to bake.
There we go. See, Amy, I'm not allowed.
So if
Wait a minute. Who says he's the big macha?
well, I happen to know that Joe doesn't cook at all, so I was trying to help her save face.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
She doesn't need saving face. She has a beautiful face as it is.
Aw, thanks, Amy. Thank you.
So, Joe, you want to know what you missed?
Yeah, what did I miss?
You missed us making matzah.
Oh, are you done already?
No.
We got a few people have their first pieces out of the oven.
Well, I know Ann Mayer's going all out. She's doing the double batch.
Yeah, I lost my internet, so I'm trying to do it on the phone, and I can't.
Hey, Joe, how's Alex doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a fair answer. So for
It's a
there's
hard question to answer, I guess.
Yeah.
There's lots of layers. That's an easy one.
Yeah,
I guess.
understood.
Hey,
Yeah.
Joe, while you were there
Yes.
without your fingers all in dough, can you tell
Yes.
me, are there audio participants that I don't know about? Are you able to see that?
Diane B.
Yeah, Diane, I know. Hi, Diane. You know you're here.
Here, I'll put on video.
You don't have to. There's no pressure. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
I was multitasking, so then I didn't want to make people dizzy as I had the video on.
Thank you about the flour issue. I think that was my problem.
Oh, good. So it's coming out, Amy.
Well, I have a stone board kitchen counter granite. So it's wonderful for baking because you can do anything on it. And I'm feeling the difference in how the dough feels. So I think it was too sticky before.
See, I'm learning a lot from you guys. See, I'm actually getting ready to take some notes. So this is all good stuff.
And tasty. Oh boy. All right. I'm on a little break as my oven is full, so I get to look in and see how you all are. Look at each and every one of you. Look at these people all making matzah together. God bless technology. It's pretty cool. Oh, look at that, Allison! You did it.
That.
And I will ask you if you would selfie. Either include. I would love a picture of yourself with a piece of matzah if you would send that at some point.
Should I taste it? Give a report.
Give a report. Is it? It's dry enough?
It's not quite dry enough. So the idea of flipping, good idea. This wasn't flipped.
And what do you think? How's it taste?
Tastes good.
Tastes good. Phew.
Yeah. This needs to be flipped.
I also found
Great. Aha.
when you finish the matzah, don't put it in a closed container. I let it sit out for 2 to 3 days because it has to be it's like a cracker.
It's got to dry out
So
a
it's
bit.
really good, wet or not quite as dry. Let it sit out for 2 to 3 days. It really takes all of the wetness out, and it's just like you'll never go back to box matzah again.
I thank you. Your flour trick really helped a lot. My second batch is looking better. I flipped it. It's going to need another flip, but my oven may not be running quite true either.
See, unlike regular baking, this is the amount of flour that I get on as I'm rolling out. You go, oh my, that's way too much.
No, I get it. I see it's hard, but I see your countertop, and that's what made me add flour to my granite. I can't show you because otherwise I have to flip the computer.
Yeah, I didn't know this the first time that I made the matzah, which was 2 years ago. And then it was really hard to work with, for me anyway. And that seemed to be the trick that makes it quite easy.
Extra flour.
Today, I only did half a recipe.
Oh, so you're going to go faster than us.
All right.
Yeah, I won't be doing it faster than you.
Well, you only made half the recipe.
Yeah.
All right. I got to go check my oven.
So I'm making my notes, and let's see if I captured all it. So in the recipe it said tablespoon, but we really meant teaspoon of olive oil, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Next tip is what was the tool that made holes?
The pizza spritzler, or, what it is it's a pastry cutter type
A
thing.
pizza docker.
Docker, that's it. Okay. And well floured.
If you're a cowboy, you could use a spur, just spurs.
Oh, yeah. That's it. It was a pastry spur curl or something like that.
Yeah.
I can picture it in my mother's kitchen. I don't have it, but I can picture it.
And the other big tip, and thank you, Nikki, is extra flour while rolling it out.
And middle of the oven.
Oh, middle of the oven. There we go.
I think you also need to know if your oven runs hot or cold, as Rabbi says.
Yeah. In my oven, I didn't put it in the middle. I have 5. I put it in the second one from the bottom. But you really have to watch it so it doesn't burn.
And then I have
I have 3 because I have like a double. I have a convection part, and then I have a regular oven.
I don't know the rules to this. Is the top of the oven hotter than the bottom of the oven?
No, the convection oven is like a steam type of cooking, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That has a fan, I know. But so are you making it, Nikki, with convection or no?
No. I'll try that though next time.
So,
how that goes.
I'm interested in the type of it because heat does rise.
That's what I was
thinking. Yeah.
Well, I know with convection it just cooks faster.
Yeah. But the goal I heard was around 400 degrees, not 425.
Correct.
Doesn't that also depend on the outlet to move the heat around?
Convection just moves air to keep move the heat around, right? So it's just making sure that the oven as a whole is more like the same temperature.
So folks, here
Right.
I made 2, and they're kind of wobbly at this point. Gravity moves them, but as Nikki said, if you leave them out for a few days and put some barbed wire around them to keep the family from eating them, they'll dry out a little bit more.
I'm sure everyone has barbed wire at the handy.
Oh, absolutely.
Meg, do you have barbed wire at your house?
Well, I'll have to dig it off the fence, but I know we all have barbed wire. We gotta keep the critters away.
I am down. Where are you guys in your batching? I'm on my last 2.
I'm just on my second and
Okay.
I have my second in. I'm waiting for it to finish cooking.
There's no prize or... Well, there is a prize. Everyone gets a prize.
Surprise!
You get matzah.
Oh, Anne, that's beautiful.
Oh, well done, Anne.
Let me see. Oh, that is gorgeous.
Very nice, Anne.
Yay!
I'm a little jealous of how absolutely round it is. I don't know how you did that. Okay.
Practice, apparently.
I feel better.
That might be the only round one, actually.
So here are mine. Mine are not round, they're not square.
Nikki, would you make sure also to make a selfie and send those? Last year I had people send pictures
Hey, John.
Send pictures.
I'll send you a picture of my matzah, but not with me in it.
No, so that was last year. I got a lot of pictures of different challahs, but I liked, and Allison, you sent one with you in it, and I thought, well, that gives it a human touch. It's not just Rabbi made 47 different matzah. Oh, I got round happening here.
Okay, hey, here's mine. This is my first one.
Wow!
Well done, Amy.
Okay, careful. My husband's gonna be the selfie.
Hi, John.
Tastes good. It has to dry out a little bit.
It'll be better in a few days, but it's good now.
Good day.
How is it, though? Not too bad? It has to dry out.
Yes.
Good.
That does not mean we have mice in the house.
Nibble, nibble.
Dr. Maddie, how's yours going?
For our cooling tray. I thought we had our cooking tray thing. I don't know where it went.
I like seeing everybody.
Say it again, Maddie.
We've got 4 out of all the things.
All good.
Also, for the notes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so these are what they're looking like. And Isaac said that it's better. No, we don't need to do this. Isaac says that it's better to torch it with the pew 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 sound.
Oh, pew 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 pew.
That definitely will add the extra touch to it. Sound effects always a plus.
Thank you for adding that. I think that's keeping it traditional to the 1492 recipe. So what I just remembered from rolling out pizza was that if you don't roll all the way to the ends, you can get a rounder piece. So roll up to like the last inch. And mine are coming out, look, they're coming out roundy.
Wow. And I always thought they were supposed to be squares.
That was just for manufacturing.
No, that's the older generation.
There we are.
Did anybody hear the peanut gallery in the back on my end?
Yes,
Okay.
we like peanuts.
I like them square so you can put them in the napkin holders like my bubby used to do. And that way they don't roll. So they're just always on the table in the little napkin holders. Square.
That's pretty clever.
That's very cool. Do you still have the napkin holders that she had?
No, it's just your standard, where you stack your napkins and you just take it out on the table. It's just your standard dish. And instead of putting napkins, she'd put matzahs in there.
That's pretty cool.
Except it would be fun.
I'm going to go to my other camera. Here's Rabbi Cam. Hold on. I put mine. I don't know if you can see that. Hold on.
Oh, you have a gorgeous kitchen, Rabbi.
Thank you. Look at me. I'm gorgeous. There's mine drying the dish rack.
I was wondering about that.
There you go.
And mine does happen to be clean and not dish-free at this point, so I could.
I had to clean up the whole kitchen because I knew you guys were all coming. What you don't see, well, you don't need to know what you don't see.
Like when you showed us your office?
Yes. Maddie's mom, hi. I saw you just had a little taste. How's it taste? You're on mute, so it makes it a little harder for us to hear you.
It is amazing.
It's
delicious.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Good job, team.
Absolutely.
Well done. All right. I'm just waiting on, I have some that need to go in the oven, and I'm waiting.
My flour was definitely the issue the first batch.
For those of you that use a lot of extra flour when you were rolling out, do you find that when you pull the matzahs out of the oven, there's still a lot of extra flour on them?
No.
Yeah, mine has a little dusting on it.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter? Okay.
I didn't feel that way.
I just,
but I'm wondering if cooking time and oven temperature.
My latest one, and it's nicely done, but it's really floury.
It looks floury, but
Yeah, I don't find that makes a difference. Mine does too, but as it dries, you can just kind of brush it off. Once it dries, it'll just brush off.
see, if you look at mine, and if this is before it's gone into the oven, you can see some of the flour on it.
Yeah.
But I think when I don't see that because now as mine is drying, I don't see much flour on this.
No, I didn't see mine either. I usually once it's cold enough and it doesn't, it's dry so it doesn't bend or fold. I usually just brush a little bit off with my fingers, but it doesn't make a difference in the taste.
That's great. Thank you.
I'm actually looking forward to this time. I mean,
Passover, you mean?
My homemade matzah Passover. I always make cannella, you know. I already have my chicken soup that's in the freezer. That's almost just standard. If I run out of chicken soup, somebody inevitably gets really sick and said, I need chicken soup. And I have to go to make my chicken soup, which takes about a day to make.
That's and I once made, so for Passover, there's Gefilte Fish, which is something. It's
Oh, wow.
Not right. I made a Gefilte Fish from scratch once, and it smelled up our kitchen for a few days. And at best, it was the best Gefilte Fish anyone had ever had. But there's a reason you never see Gefilte Fish on a menu. It was really good Gefilte Fish, but at the end of the day, it was boiled carp. It was not.
That's a great word, though. Gefilte fish.
Gefilte
Gefilte.
Fish.
That's what it's called.
It is a
I know,
way.
but I mean, it's a great word. There's a lot of
Brian, did you get that recipe? Because my mom talked about one that was made by her grandmother.
Oh, no.
Something. Was it a recipe that you got from?
I got it from a cookbook. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
What?
Because I have a cookbook, or I should say a recipe book, that's all in German.
Ah.
That's from one of my grandmothers. So need to get it translated, and then I need to get you a copy of it. I know our parents are cousins, so.
They still are.
Yeah, they are, but up in, you know, the other side of the regions.
Yeah.
They're playing someplace.
Good.
Amazing recipe. It was my mother's best friend. They were best friends for over 70 years. My mom is still alive, but she passed away a few years ago. And the house stinks for like minimum of 3 days.
Yeah.
And you get up in the morning and go, oh my God, I close all my doors, have all my windows open, doesn't make any difference. But it's a fairly easy recipe if you can get the fish. I've actually taught some of the fish guys around here. Because the company that used to get the fish for all the Jews, because you get the white fish from Winnipeg, which nobody gets anymore. But so I've made it many times. But I have a really great story. When I was with my ex, the very first time that he celebrated anything Jewish was for Hanukkah. It was at my great aunt's in Los Angeles. It was Bonnie's mother, Brian.
Ah, Bonnie was on earlier a moment ago.
Yeah, I know. She was like my second mother, always. And so we went to her place for dinner. Bonnie was living in Hawaii at the time. And most people don't like it. Like my gefilte fish comes out and it's lovely in color and there's tons of vegetables and it's really pretty and really, really tasty. I don't like sweet, no.
Okay.
You can do whatever. But anyway, we're sitting down and we kept saying, Auntie Mary looked down at us and said, most people don't like it. It's an acquired taste. But she said, would you like any extra? And he goes, yes, I would like some more of that filtered fish. To make a short story.
It's very funny. Hey, I don't know if folks are looking at the chat at all, but I just put a recommendation in if anybody is looking at the chat. I know, that's why I'm saying it out loud. I just finished a book by Elizabeth Ehrlich called Miriam's Kitchen. And in the book, it's a memoir, and she rediscovers her Jewish heritage through her mother-in-law, Miriam. Great. And it's full of incredible recipes, and it's just a terrific, beautiful book.
Thank you for sharing that, Allison.
I have a book that Gil Marks, is The World of Jewish Cooking, and actually, gosh, I'm on echo. Sorry. It has a borscht, so I bought the book. Oh. The borscht was amazing. It was just like how my mother would make it. And of course, she didn't follow any recipes. So she's complete opposite. She's a great cook, but not a good baker because she didn't follow any preciseness to it. But there is a recipe in this book from for gefilte fish, but from somebody in Portland, Oregon.
Go figure.
And of course, yeah, and so I've had gefilte fish in jars, and I just about died. But went to a Pesach here when we first moved here. I can't remember the organization, and it was amazing gefilte fish. Don't know whose recipe it is. I'm actually looking in the book. So when it's home done, it's fantastic, in my opinion. But the problem is this book is for a big banquet. And when you're just a party of one or party of two, it's really hard to make recipes.
You've got to really cut it down. I mean,
yeah.
People ask me sometimes with some recipes, how do you do them? I'm like, well, I cut it in half and then I cut it again. And they're like, that's too much now. I'm like, no. So what do you do when it's like 1.5 eggs? I said, I use 2 eggs, you know.
I think, I'm not sure because I've never done it, but I don't make it that often because if it's just me, I'm not making it. But I have a feeling that you can make it and then you can freeze it. I don't see
why. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, because I know at the kosher warehouse in Vancouver, you can buy logs of frozen gefilte fish. So you can cut pieces off. I mean, I don't particularly like it. I only like the homemade kind. But you can also doctor it up with onions and whatever.
We had
and kind of bake it up.
A Portland place here called Kenny and Zook's, and it was a deli, and they Portlanded up the matzo ball soup by adding cinnamon.
Oh my goodness!
And I don't usually. I'm one to be liberal, but I declared that to be non-kosher.
Yeah. Is Kenny and Zook still around? I know that it's not in that same spot, but is it still?
I think they were at the airport only last I saw, but I could be completely wrong. How are we doing on our matzah, folks? I'm on my last batch. Is browning up.
I'm done.
You're all done? You got all 12 pieces there, Nikki?
No, I just did half.
You did half.
Not all 6.
That's fantastic.
But I remember the first year we did this, that I did it online. So there was one guy who came up with a great idea. So this is what he did. He doubled it to do with the forks.
Did you attach those?
It just with a rubber band.
Very well thought out.
What did you do with the rubber band?
Well, I stole the idea from a guy who was one guy who was on the Zoom 2 years ago. Take two forks back to back, just with an elastic band, and then when you do it, you're getting double the
idea. See, I'm just using like a little dessert fork.
Yeah. Folks, I have a very special guest here who just came in.
Hi,
Annie! We're just in a small bubble because we're looking at everyone. It's got to dry for a little bit. You can have that piece.
Oh, Annie, you're going to have to convince your father to send me your address, and I want to get one of your aprons.
Me too.
They might have seen my apron, so.
Okay, you can buy
an apron. Might have given a plug.
So if you want an Annie apron, send me an email, and I will forward you along Annie's contact info.
Cool. I definitely need one because I'm a messy cook.
All right.
It'll just put me into baking again.
How's it taste, Annie?
Good. I made some matzah with my friends yesterday, and it tasted really good.
They might have heard
about it. Which matzah are you eating? The one you cooked or the one your dad just made?
I'm not letting her near the stuff I just made. No way, man. Barbed wire. No, can I have this piece?
All right, well, I have to go.
Thank you so much for joining, Nikki, and
Thank
for
you.
all of your help.
Thank you for your hints.
Here, Rabbi.
I'm going to end the recording part of this so that anyone who wants to watch it later